Diggers and Dealers is an important part of the annual calendar for the mining sector. The main reason being that participants can get together and discuss important issues for the sector. One issue this year that has really raised its head, the mooted changes to the Research and Development Tax Incentive Scheme by the federal government. Now, this scheme was first introduced in 2011, and since that time it's played a critical role in the promotion of business investment and innovation. Now, the mooted change could have wide-ranging ramifications to the small and medium-sized companies that attend these conferences. I'm with Adrian Griffin, Managing Director of Lithium Australia. Now, they've developed a processing system for extracting lithium from lithium micas. Although you're probably not totally reliant on the R&D scheme, it would play an exceptional part in the development of what you're trying to achieve.
Oh, it certainly does, and to some extent it drives the location of the plant. And the mainstay of our technology is the silage process, which dissolves the micas and extracts the lithium, as you've mentioned. Now, our preferred location is Kalgoorlie. Part of our financing package has been fairly heavily contingent upon the research and development rebates, which we've used in the past and plan to use in the future. However, with the changes in government policy, it does put some doubt on the ability to do that in Kalgoorlie. We're certainly going to do it somewhere, but you'd be aware of the fact that we have a resource in Germany. The research and development assistance in Germany is probably better than Australia, I've got to say. So we are assessing that as a probable location as well.
So bottom line, if you did have to move offshore, say to Germany, potentially what sort of cost would that be, not to just the company, but to the industry, to the country in general?
If the economic environment is not appropriate in Australia and is appropriate in Germany, we'll do the whole lot in Germany. Now, you've got to understand the size of this supply chain and the value of this supply chain. Today, that supply chain is worth about $213 billion. Australia only takes 0.5% out of that, about $1 billion at the moment. If we can add to the downstream processing, we can capture an enormous amount of that value, which in 10 years' time might be something the equivalent to 3 times the whole Australian GDP. This is a great opportunity, and research and development is the glue that brings together the parts that are going to make it work. So that's critically important. I think the government should get behind it wholeheartedly, review the R&D rebate policy to make sure that this actually happens and we capture this value in Australia.
I'm with George Bork, Managing Director of Northern Minerals. They've just pushed the big green button on their Browns Range heavy rare earths project up in the northwest of Western Australia. As big a project as it is, how important was the R&D scheme for you to get it up and running?
Oh, look, without the R&D, you could really debate and argue whether or not we would have gone ahead with it. It was very significant. I mean, over the 8 years since we discovered and started exploring for rare earths back in 2010 at Browns Range, we've spent $180 million. Up until the 2016 tax year, we received $26 million back from the federal government through the R&D scheme. We expect to get in the 20s this year. That's really significant contribution to the overall funding, so very important.
All right, so all that money that you got back from the government that we put straight back into the project, it's up, it's running. Job-wise, how many people are up there now?
Oh, look, I mean, right, just before we officially opened the plant, we had 110 people in camp, so it's been a big provider of employment. We had the mining and civil guys up last year. We've had the construction crews this year. So in the next few weeks, our numbers will taper off, and we're going to have 50 full-time jobs there. So, this project is significant in its own way for the local community up there. We're employing local people as well. So, for the eastern part of the Kimberley, it's significant from an economic perspective.
And you can be forgiven for not even worrying about it now. You've got your project up and running. You could say, oh, well, we're up, we're running. Don't worry about us. But you're still quite passionate about this R&D thing for the industry.
Yeah, look, it has a small benefit for us going forward with this proposed $4 million cap. But you're exactly right. I mean, I'm a West Australian by birth. This is so important. We talk about STEMs, we talk about the opportunity to take advantage of the periodic table that we have here in Western Australia. And to develop new industry and new processes and all that, you need assistance. And the R&D is so essential. And I really recommend everybody go out there and talk to your local MP, talk to government, and stress how important this is for the engineering groups, for everybody. It's not just the mining companies, if you like. This is going to take a shift and become critical going forward.
The Association of Mining and Exploration Companies, also known as AMEC, is a big supporter of maintaining the status quo as far as the R&D scheme goes. Chief Executive Warren Pearce, welcome to the Roadhouse.
Thanks, Wally.
Can you give us a bit of an insight into AMEC's views of the R&D scheme?
Yeah. Look, we're pretty concerned about changes to the R&D tax incentive. We're really concerned because it has the ability to damage what we need in this industry, which is more innovation, more technology. And if nothing else, Diggers and Dealers has been a great venue to showcase some of the things that are happening in the sector. We've got to support that and really drive it. Taking that away is going to actually hinder that opportunity for our industry.
Yeah, we've just spoken to like one company, Northern Minerals, spoke to George Bork. They're a perfect example of what the scheme can do.
Absolutely. Northern Minerals Rare Earth Project, it's a really exciting one, and one that's been really supported by the R&D tax incentive. But it's broader than that. I mean, it's those companies coming through in the battery mineral space where there's a processing, refining and value-adding opportunity for Australia. We actually get a greater level of value, more local jobs, more local economic growth, and the R&D tax is going to be really important for that future industry arriving and developing in Western Australia and Australia. So we'd be really concerned about any changes that might actually limit that opportunity. We've got a window of opportunity now, maybe 2 years. We've got to really try and push those companies forward, and we're really concerned to see those changes impacting on the industry.
The ramifications of the mooted changes to the scheme are real, as these smaller and medium-sized mining companies who are trying to get their projects up and running will find that their ability to do so will be greatly diminished. I'm Wally Graham. Thanks for watching the Resources Roadhouse.